Foreign language skills. Module 4. 4.1.
So, Katie, you're a teacher.
Yes.
What is your favorite age group of students?
Probably my favorite age group is around the junior high school age, so from about 11 to 15.
Okay.
I think they're the most interesting to teach.
What makes them so interesting?
Well, they already have personalities, and
Mhm.
they're like almost adults, but not quite adults. So it's interesting to see, I think it's just really interesting to teach them and see how they respond to stuff.
Mhm.
It's very different from adults and it's very different from children, but it's kind of almost there, but not quite.
Yeah, that sort of bridging
Yeah,
age group.
yeah.
I guess.
So they're still young kids, so I can still teach them stuff,
Mhm.
but they're old enough to also do stuff by themselves.
Yes.
So it's like the perfect age group to teach, I think.
Yeah, independence.
Yeah.
That's right. What about things like behavior and attitude? I just imagine that age group to be quite challenging. I mean, there's a lot of hormones going on, and personalities are forming. So
Usually when in their first year of junior high school, they're fine because they're all still they're still babies. They've gone from being the oldest kids in elementary school to the babies at junior high school. But when they get to second year,
yeah.
that's when they start getting a bit moody, a bit hormonal, a bit grumpy in class. But then when they go to third grade,
Yep.
that's when they start becoming normal people again, I think.
So second year's the challenging year.
Yeah, the terrible twos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that works in both ways,
Yeah,
huh?
it does.
So do you have any particular strategies or tips for dealing with that difficult age?
I think why they're so moody is because they're almost adults, they're becoming adults. So if you stop treating them like kids and start treating them like adults, talking to them like adults,
Right.
treating them like you treat an adult, then
Yeah.
they respond better to that than if you just shout at them like you would a kid, or if you discipline them like you would a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, just treat them more like adults and they respond to it really well, I think.
So you find they step up to they meet
Most
the
of
expectations.
the time. Most of the time.
Have you ever had any particularly challenging moments in the classroom?
Yeah. Yeah.
Silly question, really,
Of
isn't
course,
it?
yeah. I mean, I've had kids throw textbooks out the window.
Oh,
I've
really?
had kids punch their fists through walls.
Oh.
I've had lots of angry kids,
Wow.
but they're very rare.
Mm-hmm.
I've had lots of them, but they're rare.
That's an interesting.
Interesting, yeah. Yeah. In terms of overall in a class, there's usually only one in each class that's a troubled student. But I mean, that's anywhere. That happens anywhere.
That's true. So how do you deal with troubled students?
I think that's a very difficult question. There's no textbook way of dealing with troubled students in general, because every kid's different. Every kid has a different problem. Every kid is acting out for a different reason. So you have to find out why they're troubled, why they're acting out, and try and deal with it in the best way you can. Yeah, don't get angry is probably my best advice, even though you feel like strangling them sometimes. But just try and be patient, try and figure out why they're acting out, and just deal with it from there.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, staying calm is probably the best option, isn't it?
And the 1 time out of 10 is when you really need to get really angry. That's the scary time.
Yeah, sometimes they just need to know, because there may be children with, just personalities, strong personalities, and they just are maybe showing off to the class, being a clown, and they just need that one moment where you show them, you have to listen to me, I am the boss, kind of thing. Just get your power back, perhaps.
Module 4. 4.2.
So, John, you're an English teacher now, is that right?
Yes, I've been an English teacher for 6 years now.
Oh, do you always want to be an English teacher?
Well, actually, recently I've been thinking about changing my job.
Oh?
Yes, I've been studying math and science.
Oh.
I'm learning a lot more about math these days. I hope in the future I can be a math teacher.
It sounds interesting.
Yes, I think so. I think math is important because if we can understand math, We learn new ways to think about problems.
Mm-hmm. What age student do you want to teach math to?
I think I would enjoy teaching junior high school students.
So you said you're studying math now. How do you
That's
do
right.
it? Do you study online?
That's exactly right. I study online from various websites,
Hmm.
and these websites connect you to free online courses from real universities around the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I signed up for a free algebra class from a university in the United States.
Will you get a degree when you finish?
Well, you can. Um, for every course you finish, you can get a certificate that
Mm-hmm.
says you passed this course. And if you sign up for a series of courses, you can get a certification in a field like math or science.
Oh, really? And it's all online?
Yeah, and it's not only math or science, you can choose any field you want. I've been thinking of studying Spanish language there, and you can study computer programming or history or law.
Oh, interesting. Maybe I'll try it.
You should. They have different types of classes. You can study by yourself, by watching videos, or you can even have an interactive class with a real teacher, and you can meet through video chat.
Wow. Hey, thank you.
Yeah, you should try this opportunity.
I will.
Module 4. 4.3.
So, Sarah, you're an English teacher, right?
That's right.
You must have taught in many countries before.
Yeah, I did. I taught in the USA, in Taiwan, China, South Korea, Japan, and Ecuador.
Oh, Ecuador.
Yeah.
So, you must be able to speak Spanish very well.
I think so. I studied really hard, and then when I lived in Ecuador, I spent a lot of time talking to people.
Did you teach Spanish too?
No, I didn't. When I lived in Ecuador, actually, I volunteered for the United Nations.
Wow.
And I taught families, and they were being relocated to Canada because they were fleeing the drug wars of Colombia.
Wow.
So I felt very badly for these families, but they had a really bright future, so that was good. But then one week, I had a couple of families, and they were being relocated to Sweden.
Oh.
And I said, I can't teach them Swedish. And the UN said, well, maybe just teach them English. So I thought, they're going to Sweden, they don't need to learn English right now. And my friend at the time, she's Norwegian, and we were living together. And every day she helped me to learn a little bit of Swedish, just enough for one class, so that I could teach these families
Wait.
some Swedish.
You were teaching Swedish language?
Yes,
You are an English speaker.
yes,
You lived in Ecuador.
yes,
And a Norwegian person taught you Swedish.
yes.
So you could teach Swedish to people from Ecuador.
From Colombia, currently living in Ecuador.
So they could move to Sweden.
Yes,
And you did this as a volunteer.
yeah. I wanted to help people, so I moved to Ecuador and I got a volunteer job with the United Nations to help teach people, but I never thought I would be teaching Swedish.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I would like to try that someday too.
You can do it.
Module 4. 4.4.
Hey Gilder, we're both teachers. I have a question. Have you ever caught a student cheating on a test?
Many times.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, and I don't know other countries, but Venezuela is pretty common, especially in high school.
Is it?
Yes, and when it comes to the time of midterms,
Uh-huh.
we have to be ready. We have to create like 5 models of the same test to avoid any cheating events during the test.
Really?
Yes. Also, they come up with also some sort of supporting material to the class that yeah, every day is something new. Like nowadays with the use of cell phones and smartphones in the class,
Right.
they do incredible things. So we have to be like police officers during the midterm, checking their hands, their pockets, their hair, because some girls with long hair, they paste a piece of paper, they glue it to their hair,
Oh my
and then
goodness.
they're like looking at it. Yeah. So they're experts in yeah,
That
in
sounds
cheating.
it
Yeah.
sounds really common. You've had to deal with that quite a
Yes,
lot.
yes, just based on my experience. So all these cases, I had them in my class. Yes.
And how did you deal with that when what do you do when you catch a student cheating?
Well, it's very uncomfortable because you have to stop the class and so the students are some of them, like most of them are concentrated in the test, and then you have to stop and call the attention, normally out loud, because otherwise, if you go like slowly quiet, you they might get rid of the paper or whatever they have.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, but then you kind of got used to, and you just ask them to leave the classroom. But nowadays, with the law, with there's a new law
Mhm.
regarding teenagers and children in Venezuela.
Mhm.
So if you caught student with a piece of paper, cheat, you have to take it from him or her and then ask them to continue with the test,
Mhm. Okay.
or just like eliminate those parts with the answers that that person had on the paper.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're still giving them an opportunity to continue then.
Yes, yes, exactly. Although like you feel really upset,
Mhm.
you kind of understand like, okay, give me that and please continue do your best. This
Mhm.
is what we are supposed to do. Yeah.
Module 4. 4.5.
Okay, John, let's talk about fashion. You know, I have students, and I think sometimes they don't dress appropriately for the classroom.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it looks like students are wearing the clothes which they will plan to wear at night to go out and go to a party with friends.
Yeah. So actually, I think school uniforms are great. I would make the teachers wear the school uniform too.
I agree with you.
Because I think when we talk about appropriate clothing, I think girls very often take most of the blame for that. But I think it's our society, and we can fix the problem by having a uniform for girls and boys and teachers, and we can feel like part of a team.
I know there are a lot of problems of school uniform. Uh, First of all, students don't want to all dress the same.
Mm.
But there's other problems. Usually when schools have a uniform, the boys wear pants and the girls have to wear a dress or a skirt. I don't think that's fair.
I agree. I don't think that's fair either. I think a lot of schools these days, they can let the girls choose. And so the girls can wear shorts or pants.
Oh, that's good. I think even beyond the pants or a skirt issue, there should be some flexibility to customize your uniform.
Mm.
Whether you want to wear shirts that are a different color, even if they're in the same style,
Mm-hmm.
or you want to have some pins or patches or some other accessories.
Do you think as a teacher, would you say something to your student if your student came to class and maybe, for example, it was a boy and his pants were very low and you could see his underwear, or maybe it was a girl and you thought, oh no, her shorts are a little too short, what do you think you would do?
Wow, that's a difficult question. I have to say, I don't think I've been in that situation. I guess I'm lucky enough my students haven't pushed the limit too far. But I feel that I would say something. If a student came to class in clothing that was, in my opinion, too inappropriate, I would ask them to probably to, if not leave the class, at least don't wear clothes like that next time. What about you?
Well, I had a student and he came to class with a jacket, and it looked like a very expensive jacket, but it had a very bad word written on the jacket.
Oh.
And after class finished, I told him to wait, please, and I told him that he probably shouldn't wear that jacket to class, or maybe he shouldn't wear it anymore at all. It just isn't very appropriate. And he came to class next time, and he had the jacket, but he had taken it to a shop, and they had taken the bad word off of the jacket. And so I was very happy to see that he changed his behavior, and now he could dress the way he liked, but also be appropriate.
Well, that sounds very good. That's very effective.
Module 4. 4.6.
The search for knowledge is central to British life. In fact, 4 of the world's top 10 universities can be found here. Every year, huge amounts are invested in science and research in this country. So, why is knowledge so important to Great Britain? Oxford has been a place of learning for hundreds of years, and more world leaders have been educated here than any other university. This is Old Schools Quad, which is part of the famous Bodleian Library at the heart of this historic establishment. A quad, or quadrangle, is a courtyard with buildings on all sides. Oxford University is made up of 38 different colleges. There are 20,000 students studying here from nearly 150 countries. Hi Sally, nice to meet you.
Hi Richard, you too. Let's go this way.
Dr. Sally Mapston is Pro-Vice Chancellor of Education. Sally, tell me about Oxford University.
Oxford University is one of the world's leading universities. It's highly international, it's very modern, and it has a great sense of history.
And how old is it?
The university has been here for 900 years. Many of the colleges are almost as old as that too, though some of them were established in the 20th century.
And you've had a lot of famous names here over the years.
Yes, we've had a lot of famous people at Oxford, from Prime Ministers such as Margaret Thatcher, Harold Wilson, David Cameron, US Presidents such as Bill Clinton, writers such as Oscar Wilde, and even film stars such as Hugh Grant.
So why is it, do you think, that the search for knowledge and education is so important to Great Britain?
Great Britain and universities like Oxford have always had a rich interest in critical inquiry. By that I mean the search for knowledge, the investigation of truth, the asking of questions, whether it's to do with drama, to do with development, or even to do with disease. We're always asking the big questions to try and change things for the better.
Module 4. 4.7.
Excuse me, Miss Henderson?
Yes, Diana. How can I help you?
I'm sorry, but I can't come to class next Wednesday. I have a doctor's appointment.
Okay, thanks for letting me know.
Is there anything to do at home?
Let me just check my notebook. Okay, first of all, you need to read chapters 17, 19, and 20 in the book. There are also some articles and a video to watch. Those are online. I'll post the links online in the usual place.
Chapters 17 to 20.
Yes, except chapter 18. Chapters 17, 19, and 20.
Ah, okay. Is there a deadline?
Yes, this Friday. But there's something else. I was going to give you all a practice test.
A practice test?
Yes, to help people prepare for the midterm exam.
Ah, all right.
Don't worry, I can send you the practice test by email on Wednesday. Can you send it to me before Friday?
Sure. No problem.
And don't forget to bring a certificate from the doctor to the office.
Thanks, Miss Henderson. I'll do that.
You're welcome, Diana. Take care.
Module 4. 4.8.
Teaching is one of the most important jobs in the world. Even though it's so important, it isn't very well paid. Teachers don't get a lot of money. This is surprising because most governments say education is their top priority. Teaching is also one of the world's most stressful jobs. I read somewhere it was in the top 10. I wonder if teaching is fun. I like teaching people things. I taught my younger brothers and sisters loads of things. I suppose teaching as a teacher is different. You have lots of classes to teach and lots of homework to mark. I think all of my teachers at school loved teaching. I was lucky. They did a good job at making their subject interesting. I think teaching is probably quite difficult.
Module 4. 4.9.
I remember when I decided to be a teacher, thinking it'd be easy, because I just spent the last 15 years in school surrounded by these people trying to teach me. Most of my life has been in school. This job will be breezy. I'd make jokes with kids, share lots of stories, transform lives, make them fall in love with books, perfect my teacher looks, and ensure every kid thrives. It's school. I mean, I'm kind of a fool, but how hard can it be? I think a lot of people believed this job would be easy. But then in my first year, that kid who I poured my heart into dropped out, and it became clear that my jokes didn't carry enough clout. And I had that one class that was so loud that I had to shout. I told myself I would never be that teacher. That's not what I'm about. But then after that moment, I felt my first self-doubt. I remember when that parent burst into my room demanding that I boost her child's grade. And she called me a liar when I told her how he behaved. And that school grade came back that said our work was deficient. And pressure from the district would be applied until all of our students scored proficient. How do you teach a kid when their belly is empty, or teach work ethic to students who come from plenty? I thought I'd instantly be a master at leading students who are willing and able, but they stare at their phones under the table. I remember my first class had over 30 kids in the room, and that number doubled for teachers when school was moved to Zoom. Yet the expectation is excellence for those standardized tests that loom. And here I was thinking I'd be a gardener trying to help some flowers bloom. Teaching isn't easy. But when that other student who was fighting bleak odds walked across the graduation stage to a deafening applause, I couldn't help but tear up as I sat here in awe and realized there really is something special about this job. Standardized tests and school grades can still cause me misery, but few things compare to when our students are achieving victory, like watching them read for the first time, or discovering that math problem is a hill that they can climb, or finding the bravery to speak up in class and deliver a line, or getting a letter from them years later telling you that you helped them shift their paradigm. when a kid falls in love with reading, or students have deep discussions without your pleading, or you can make them see that when it comes to succeeding, there is no ceiling. You're reminded that this career is one worth leading. There's parts of the education system that can cause so much strife, yet there's parts of being an educator that can give you so much life. So if you're not a teacher, just know that this work is challenging and lend your support. And remember who all of their work is for. Our kids, our community, our society. It's for all of us. And if you are an educator, may you discover the joy often hidden beneath the surface and find those moments that make this demanding work worth it. And feel relieved of this pressure to always be perfect, and know that there are many of us who appreciate your service. And may everyone watching this recognize and support it.
Module 4. 4.10.
No matter where I go, every time I look back on this road, you'll always be a part of who I am. Everything I've known, every seed of greatness you have sown, through good and bad, your love has watched me grow. You teach me right from wrong, inspire me to be strong. You care in every way, in my heart you will always stay. In this moment let me say how I'm grateful every day. You are here to guide my way. Beside me stay. In this moment let me say, you turn my little into great. There's no fear, my dreams are awake with you. All that I can be means so much 'cause you believe in me. You show me how to live with dignity. When the lessons end, I can share with you just like a friend. Your love and smiles and frowns keep me safe. You teach me right from wrong, strong. You care in every way. In my heart you will always stay. In this moment let me say how I'm grateful every day. You are here to guide my way. When I'm lost beside me stay. In this moment let me say, turn my little into great. There's no fear, my dreams are awake with you. Stay. In this moment let me say how I'm grateful every day. You are here to guide my way. When I'm lost beside me stay. In this moment let me say, you turn my little into great. There's no fear.